Hi Booktube, it's Connie, and I'm here with my March TBR. So this month, or the month of March, I'm going to have a bit of an ambitious TBR because I've got a lot of books from the library. Fortunately, I am in 2 book clubs through my library here. One is just a regular book club where we meet at the library the second Monday of every month. And the other one's kind of a fun one. It's called Books, Brew, and Banter. And she used to meet every 3rd Tuesday, which was perfect because then my one book club, which meets on the 2nd week of the month, the 2nd Monday, I could get that book read, and then I'd have to have the book for Books, Brew, and Banter read by the next week. And every once in a while she switches it to the 2nd Tuesday. So this month we're doing it the 2nd Tuesday, so I'm going to have a book club meeting on Monday and then again on Tuesday. So I have a bit, and I have a lot of books out from the library. So I have an ambitious, a bit of an ambitious TBR for this month. So we'll get started. The first one that I'm going to have to finish, right now I'm working on finishing Gemina, which is, I don't think you can see it, it's over here. There it is. I'm going to have that done this weekend. And then I'm going to start right into The Glorious Heresies. I have not read this book. I don't really know a whole lot about it. It says it's about a family in Ireland, I think. So it says, when grandmother Maureen Phelan is surprised in her home by a stranger, she clubs the intruder with a holy stone. The consequences of this unplanned murder connect 4 misfits struggling against their meager circumstance. Ryan is a 15-year-old drug dealer desperate not to turn out like his alcoholic father Tony, whose feud with his next-door neighbor threatens to ruin his family. Georgie is a sex worker who half-heartedly joins a born-again movement to escape her profession and drug habit. And Jimmy Phelan, the most fearsome gangster in the city and Maureen's estranged son, finds that his mother's bizarre attempts at redemption threaten his entire organization. Biting and darkly funny, The Glorious Heresies presents an unforgettable vision of a city plagued by poverty and exploitation where salvation still awaits in the most unexpected places. So I have this from the library. It's due back on March 3rd, so that's next Friday. I may be able to renew it because I don't think a lot of people, there wasn't like a hold on this when I got it, so I might be able to renew this one, but I'm going to try and have it done by next week. If not, I'll definitely have it done by the end of the month. Now, the first book club that meets the 2nd Monday, we are reading Here I Am by Jonathan Safran Foer. I've never read anything by Jonathan Safran Foer. I do have, I always forget the name of it, Incredibly Loud and Something Close. Or Something Loud and Incredibly Close, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, I think it's called. Haven't read it yet. It's on my Kindle. I've had it for a couple years. So, we'll be doing that. Anyway, so this one is the first one from my book club. In the book of Genesis, when God calls out Abraham before ordering him to sacrifice his son Isaac, Abraham responds, "Here I am." Later, when Isaac calls out my father before asking him why there is no animal to slaughter, Abraham responds, "Here I am." How do we fulfill our conflicting duties as father, husband, and son, wife and mother, child and adult, Jew and American? How can we claim our own identities when our lives are linked so closely to others? These are the questions at the heart of Jonathan Safran Foer's first novel in 11 years, a work of extraordinary scope and heartbreaking intimacy. I'm not going to read the rest because this is going to be a long video. So anyways, this is for my first book club, which meets, so I have to have this, it's actually due back to the library by the 6th. I don't know why they didn't just give it to me through, my book club meets on the 13th, but I have to have this done by the 6th. My second one is for, my other book club. It's called The Widow. I don't really know a whole lot about this, and since it's on my Fire phone or my Fire tablet right now, I don't know how to get through all this stuff. So, so anyways, that book club meets on the 14th, and then I have another book that's due. It's actually due the 9th, so I'm going to have to read it. and it is Every Heart a Doorway. You probably can't see it. It's loading now. It's this one right here. But a lot of people are talking about that. It has something to do with kids who were put into fairy tale worlds who then come back. I don't know, they come back to the real world, and I don't know a whole lot about it, but people are talking about it. Like, it's a very good book, so that's got to be read. And then what else? Oh, I have another one that I found from, it was a Boôktube, a Boôktube recommendation. My goodness, it doesn't stay up there very long. I want the cover to stay up. So it's The Lake House by Kate Morton. Again, another book I really don't know a whole lot about, but what I liked about it is that it takes place in Cornwall, England. And my family, my father's side of the family, come from Cornwall, so I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't have a synopsis of it, but that is due back on the 14th. So I have a lot of books to read through the middle of the month. And then I have two more, which I just checked out today, and they're both going to be due on the 18th. One may be able to be renewed, but this one, A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab, which is the third in a trilogy. I read the first two, so I'm excited to go back into the world of the three Londons and see what Kel and Lila are up to. The balance of power has finally tipped. The precarious equilibrium among the four Londons, okay, there's four Londons, I forgot about Black London, of four Londons has reached its breaking point. Once brimming with the red vivacity of magic, darkness casts a shadow over the Maresh Empire, leaving a space for another London to rise. Who will crumble? Kel, once assumed to be the last surviving Antari, begins to waver under the pressure of competing loyalties, and in the wake of tragedy, can Arnis survive? Who will rise? Lila Bard, once a commonplace but never common thief, has survived and flourished through a series of magical trials, but now she must learn to control the magic before it bleeds her dry. Meanwhile, the disgraced Captain Alucard Emery of the Night Spire collects his crew attempting a race against time to acquire the impossible. Who will take control? And an ancient enemy returns to claim a crown while a fallen hero tries to save a world in decay. So I'm excited to move back into that world. Now this book, kind of funny story. I do not remember, last week I got a notification from my library saying that my book was ready for pickup, and I was expecting it to be A Conjuring of Light because that's the only book I remember putting on hold. But apparently I put this book on hold. It's called The Meaning of Night, A Confession. The only thing I can think is that I saw somebody on Boôktube give it a good review, because I do not remember putting this book on hold. And actually when I saw that, it's like, oh, I have so many books to read. I just need to, I took the hold off, but they already had it sitting out in the library waiting for me. So when I showed up today to pick up A Conjuring of Light, because that became available around Thursday, it was still sitting there. So I thought, well, I had read the synopsis. It sounded kind of interesting, so I just went ahead and checked it out. After killing the red-haired man, I took myself off to Quim's for an oyster supper. So begins the extraordinary story of Edward Gliver, book lover, scholar, and murderer. As a young boy, Gliver always believed he was destined for greatness. A chance discovery convinces him that he was right. Greatness does await him, along with immense wealth and influence. Overwhelmed by his discovery, he will stop at nothing to win back a prize that he now knows is rightfully his. Gliver's path to reclaim this right leads him from the depths of Victorian London, with its foggy streets, brothels, and opium dens, to Evanwood, one of England's most beautiful and enchanting country houses, and finally to a consuming love for beautiful but enigmatic Emily Carteret. His is a story of betrayal and treachery, of death and delusion, of ruthless obsession and ambition, and at every turn driving Gliver irresistibly onward is his deadly rival, the poet-criminal Phoebus Rainsford Daunt, I think it says. So I thought it sounded kind of interesting, so I went ahead and checked it out. It might be a not finished book, but we'll see. So anyways, that's a little bit, for me, that's an ambitious TBR. If I get through all of these by the 18th, though, I've got a couple books that I would like to start. So one of them I've had for several years, and I've just never started it. I'm getting losing books here. Is by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and it's Purple Hibiscus. So I've heard that this is just an incredible book. I've had it for a couple of years and just never got around to reading it. It's only about 300 pages. So I would like to maybe get to that. If I can't this month, that will be on my April TBR. And I may get back to reading Bill Clinton's My Life. I started it years and years ago. He goes very in-depth into policy, but I would like to finish it. And I noticed that the audiobook is available from the library. So I thought, well, this will be a good book to listen to with audio and follow along in the book when I'm ready. So anyways, that's my TBR for March. Tell me what you're reading down in the comments, or if you've read any of these books. Just don't tell me anything about them. Just tell me if you like them. And I will talk to you soon. Bye!